The Chicago Bulls had picks number 4 and 15 in the first round, and with those picks, they have selected Caleb Williams and Dailyn Swain at picks number 4 and 15. What does this mean for the Chicago Bulls team building? Well, we're going to talk about that all and more right after this. What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go and get into this content for today, y'all. The Chicago Bulls went exactly where people were thinking at pick number 4, and that's with Caleb Wilson at pick number 4. Now, this offers the Chicago Bulls a player that is going to bring so much defensive intensity and identity to the Chicago Bulls that we have been missing. And while he's not a great jump shooter yet, what he does provide as far as still shot creation in the mid-range, ability in transition as well. He does create separation in that mid-range. And like I said before on today's earlier episode is that, you know, with what Caleb Wilson is as far as athletically, teams are not going to be able to sag off of Caleb Wilson even at the three-point line, because if he gets the first step on you, provide too much space, he's going to yam it on your head. That's just the reality of it. And so with Caleb Wilson, the Chicago Bulls are getting an elite upside forward that has two-way ability and has one of the highest upsides of the players in the top 4. The dynamic athleticism that there's for him. He is a high-level athlete who plays with force. He can guard 4 positions, maybe even all 5 positions when he finishes developing completely. And that's something that becomes such a defensive playmaker. And he's not a slouch scoring-wise either. He does have some issues shooting. Of course, he's an inconsistent shooter, but that does not mean and that's a three-point shooter. That doesn't mean he's a bad scorer at all. And I've seen some confusion in regards to that. He was still 38th in the nation in scoring, despite not having that three-point jump shot. So there's still elite ability there with him. What he does in putting pressure on the rim and in transition is absolutely ridiculous. The way that he attacks the basket, that's why I say teams are not going to be able to sag off on him even at the three-point line because of his ability to attack the basket and get to the rim there. He also draws fouls. He does understand all of that. And so you have that. You have the rebounding ability that he brings as well. He rebounds on the offense and defensive side of the ball. He has that elite second jump ability as well. That's going to be able to put him in traffic to get those rebounds. And you add that with Josh Giddey and having Miles Buzelis there as well. That's going to be some really good. He's going to play through effort. He's going to do those type of things. And his ability to face up and the shooting form that he does have, there's really good foundation there and really good reason to believe that he's going to be able to turn into a quality shooter and scorer at that level. The fundamentals on his shot, his jump shot, look really good. And so because of that, you can see this kid turning into a really solid player there. He's shown that ability to face up in the mid-post as well. He doesn't have a true back-to-the-basket game yet, so I think you're going to have to work on that as well. If he works out on that jump shot and develops some actual back-to-the-basket low-post moves, he's going to be a complete scorer. And with the defensive ability that he has there as well, it could be so important. And more importantly than all of that, he wanted to be a Chicago Bull. And that keeps being evident throughout all of this. This kid wanted to be a Bull. And that's something that I can't take away from him. I love to see players that want to be a Chicago Bull, but there are some concerns with him as well. Of course, the shooting consistency is a problem there. He has some trouble getting in foul trouble every once in a while too with that one. And he's going to have to develop strength-wise in the NBA, but everybody does. But at the bottom line, what Caleb Wilson is an elite young forward that has a huge, high long-term ceiling. The athleticism is crazy. The slap fit is ridiculous when it comes down to that one. And he already has so many ways that he can impact the game even without the jump shot. One of the things when players are working on their jump shot and they need to turn into a better shooter that I always look at is how many areas of the game can you impact while your shooting isn't necessarily the best. And Caleb Wilson affects every area of the game. In transition, on defense, the switchability, the rebounding, the block shots as well. I think an underrated passer as well when you look at it too, but he's not going to have to even do a lot of that with the Chicago Bulls. And you get that size that's legitimate and that you can bet on. And the pairing with Miles Buzelis, excellent. But then at pick number 15, even with Cameron Carr, who has become a darling and a favorite for many Chicago Bulls fans, the Bulls decided not to go Cameron Carr at that pick, and they are instead going Dailyn Swain with that pick. And this is a 6'7" junior. 211 pounds. He's coming out of Texas as well. This is a guy that has worked out and become a better shooter every year. 15% from three-point shooting in his freshman year, 25% in his sophomore year, and then last year taking 2.5 three-pointers per game, shot it at a 34% clip. He also shoots 81% from the free throw line as well. This is a kid that brings a lot of defensive versatility. He averaged over a steal and a half per game. Also, with that, he can get in those passing lanes. Another big body that fits the mold of what the Chicago Bulls are trying to do here under, Bryson Graham, and I like it. Now, do I like it as much as Cameron Carr? Maybe not as much, but this is a guy that brings that forward wing depth as well. When you look at it, he is 21 years old, so a little bit on the older side, but this is a legit two-way player. And that's what the Bulls have added here is legit two-way players. He possesses a skill set that you look at, the versatility, the speed, what he brings on the defensive side of the ball is good. Continues that athleticism at 6'7", with an almost 7-foot wingspan, fluid movement that he brings as well. He can guard 1 through 3, right? And he can also guard some 4s at sometimes as well. He knows how to push the transition with the ball in his hand or finish around the rim. And overall, this is a really smart, high IQ basketball player that makes a lot of sense. He's really good at moving off ball. He has that instinct to cut when you need him to, and he handles the ball really well for his size. His shooting is going to need some work, right? He doesn't have really great balance on that jump shot. The confidence isn't there. The follow-through on the jumper also is a little bit shaky, which adds to that kind of concern on what is he going to turn into long-term. Is he going to be more of a forward? Is he going to be, more of a shooting guard? And he can be a bit careless as well, but this is a guy that brings legit two-way ability in play, defensive versatility. He can play make as well, and he fits the NBA game a little bit better on paper than what he did in college. More spacing is going to allow him to get to work more and thrive as that defender and transition scorer and slasher as well. I do say this, like Luol Deng wasn't the best three-point shooter. Never that he became like a knockdown three-point shooter, but if Dailyn Swain can work on his jump shot to get to like serviceable as well, the one concern with these two players at pick number 4 and number 15 is the lack of shooting overall. It puts a lot of pressure on Modest Buzelis to shoot, on Josh Giddey's improved shooting as well. And I do think it maybe makes it more likely that a player like Colin Sexton maybe comes back in this as well, and we'll see what's going to happen in regards to that. So overall, I'll say this. In the first round, the Chicago Bulls got talent, they got two-way ability, and they're adding to their defensive ceiling that they just have lacked in a lot of areas. And I think that it's a really good draft class in that regard. Now, they can add more shooting, even more size in the second round, which we'll see on day 2 of the draft when we get through the second round picks. But as things stand right now, I really like what the Chicago Bulls have done here so far. Again, they got some things that they still need to work on, of course, so we're not going to act like it's completely done from there, because it's not. They got tons of things that they still need to work on and develop, but overall, I'll say this. What they've done here, I like. It's given themselves a really good base to continue to build off on, and that's really what you need in this case and where you're at right now. You want to continue to add talent at key and needed positions and develop that talent out and see what it can turn into. And so far, the Chicago Bulls have done that and done that in a legitimate way, and I love it. So let me know what you guys think down below on this draft class. We'll go a little bit more in detail on what this class means for the Chicago Bulls, how they fit with the players, and also what this means for day 2 on tomorrow's daily episode. So stay in tune with us for that. We'll go very much so in depth on that. But overall, I'll say this. My personal thought process, while I would have preferred Cameron Carr over Dailyn Swain, I think the Bulls got some really good talent here, and they continue to build and mold this roster. And I say this too. The 2 picks that they got fit with Modest. It fit with Josh Giddey. It helps overcome some of the limitations with those players, and that goes along with Nick Claxton. I think the Bulls have done themselves a really good service here in getting the right pieces and getting the right players here. Now, we just got to see what comes next. And overall, I'll say this. I think the Bulls have done themselves a pretty damn good job, but I want to hear from you guys on this one. Let me know what you guys think down below. Are you happy with the Bulls selections in the first round, or do you think that, or would you have gone a different player that was on the board, not somebody that was taken before the Bulls pick, because that was not in their control? Do you feel like they left some talent on the board that could have fit maybe better for this rebuild? Let me know what you guys think on that part down below. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel as well, hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode or an upload. You can follow us at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform. You send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullscentralpod@gmail.com. And lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the #1 spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, but that is thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See you right if you can, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation